Welcome to the Union Campaigner. Today I'm going to be talking to you about some of the basic necessities that a Civil War campaigner would be using. So, first of all, I'll be talking about the canteen. This is one of the U.S. issued canteens that the U.S. government issued their soldiers. Sometimes what soldiers would do was tie a knot on the end so that when you put your canteen on, it doesn't flop as much. One of the other canteens that more of only the Confederates used was the drum canteen. It was called a drum canteen because it was formed like a drum.
So is that not a Union canteen?
This one is not a Union canteen because it's gray. This one would be more like a Confederate canteen from more of 1861 to 1862. Towards the end they had the drum canteens, the Confederates did, but the Union canteen would be the same except for just white sky blue felt.
Would they use each other's? Did it matter?
Not really. They would just use what they got. So, let's say your canteen got blown apart by a shell fragment during a battle. You could just use a wounded soldier or a dead soldier or something like that. Because at the time they weren't exactly sure what germs were yet. So, it wasn't all that matter to them. Next, you'd have your federal issue haversack. What soldiers did sometimes was put some of their basic belongings in here. Like right now I just have my pot cover that you'll see later in the video, the pot. But they would put some of their basic necessities and food in here. Like sometimes they would put their issue food and their hardtack, and then sometimes small little like pocket knives or small belongings.
What's a hardtack?
Hardtack is a hard cracker made of flour, water, and sometimes salt, depending on what you want.
It sounds kind of gross, huh?
Sometimes depending on the conditions, sometimes they were so bad the soldiers would call them worm castles.
Worm castles?
Sometimes they were infested by worms.
Oh.
They would get into their haversacks, but other times they were just hard crackers. Next you'd have your haversack, so your backpack, and in it you would have your mess kit. So you would have your tin cup, your pot, and your issued plate. And also you would have your silverware, like your knife, your fork, and your spoon, but I don't have that right here. And then you would have, depending on what you wanted, sometimes at the beginning soldiers would be bringing Bowie knives with them. And then like your little fabric bag for like patches for your uniform and other little fabrics. You can repair some of your issued things.
Did you make that one?
Yep, you can hand make it.
You handmade a bag to hold a bag?
Well, no, this is the bag to hold like little pieces of felt to patch your uniform with.
Oh.
And then you could make like a little bag to hold your little belongings in. So like you'd have your housewife kit. So Civil War sewing kit. So you'd have like extra buttons, a pin, patches.
Library card.
No. You'd have needle and thread. And then it just folds up like that. And buttons up like that. And then sometimes they would have other things like maybe a piece of rubber for an eraser.
Did they write a lot?
Yeah, they did. Depending on what they preferred, sometimes they would have pencils, or other times they would have feather quills with ink. I just have a regular eraser, but sometimes they would have pieces of rubber, and then also sometimes they would have pocket knives with them for like whittling or other little games or making things.
So they had to carry all this while they were marching?
You didn't have to carry everything. Like sometimes they would throw out some of their issued items that weren't like that needed on the side of the road during the march. And then they would just along the way buy from civilians what they needed. Some soldiers had their issue keppies, but they would save those sometimes for inspection and when they really needed it. And then along the march, they would use these slouch hats to keep them from the rain, bugs, and the sun. Like that.
What year was the Civil War?
It was 1861 through 1865. And then sometimes, depending what unit you were, or sometimes by choice, you could bring extra rounds of ammunition along. I don't have any in here right now, but they'd have little boxes with their cartridges in, 10 per cartridge box, and then 4 of them would go into your cartridge box. This one I made out of a jewelry box. You can make your own if you want. And then
And you had everything in there, huh?
not quite everything. Sometimes they would bring, depending on who you were, you'd bring writing paper along if you could read or write.
Did they usually wear Crocs like that?
No. But this video sound more of like the,
What you carried?
yeah. In other videos, we'll be talking about like
Footwear,
uniform, and stuff
uniform.
like that.
What got you interested in the Civil Wars?
Reading.
Reading?
I just read about it a lot, and I got interested, and then I started getting all this.
So reading? What books have you read so far?
I don't have a whole list because there's tons of them, but a few good ones. A few good ones would be like Charlie Waters at Gettysburg and like those. And you can also go to the library and just look up like books on the Civil War. They have lots of those.
Which one did you last pick out? We were there the other day, weren't we?
Yeah,
Is it the encyclopedia?
yeah, something like that.
How many of those did you read so far?
encyclopedias.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
2 or 3?
Probably. Yeah, something like that.
It's a lot of reading, isn't it?
Yeah.
You gonna write a book about the Civil War?
No.
What else did they carry? Canteen and food and...
Yeah, they'd have their...
Did they carry any religious books?
Yeah, depending on what you believe in. Some people would bring, like, Bibles. Some people would just bring it for luck, because they thought it was, like, I don't know. They just thought it brought you insurance. But other people had, like, all their pipes and everything, and then they just bring a Bible for luck. That's what some people thought it brought them luck. So then, going into a battle, they'd throw away their pipes and bring their Bible, so that they didn't find, they weren't found with all those dice and cards and stuff.
Oh, all the gambling stuff?
Yeah. But most of the time, soldiers, lots of them were more, like they sang hymns around campfires and stuff like that.
So they were somewhat religious?
Yeah, depending on who you were. Some Irish immigrants coming to the United States were more Catholic. Sometimes people didn't want that, but...
You had a priest or something, huh?
Yeah, they had a few chaplains, especially the Iron Brigade. They had a whole bunch of chaplains.
The Iron Brigade?
Yeah, or the Irish Brigade.
Irish?
Yeah, because they were all Irish. So that point brings us to the conclusion of this video. If you have any questions, please comment. Ask your questions below in the comments. And please watch all our other videos.